Hi and welcome to Wrong Way, and today we're going to talk about another set of Shoei helmets and why they might be worth considering for your faster PEV. So let me tell you more about it. Wrong Way. Okay, so I've already made an episode about the Shoei EX0 and the Shoei X Spirit 2, so you can check it out by clicking the link here. But today we have another set of Shoei helmets, and of course huge thanks to Shoei for providing me these for testing purposes, namely the Glamster and the VFX-W, a full-blown motocross helmet. And you know, these are the helmets I've been using before on my PEVs. I still use this one quite a bit, especially for speeds like up to 50 kilometers an hour, 40 kilometers an hour. Probably I would go with a regular downhill bicycle helmet like this O'Neill Backflip Muerta. But I don't use this helmet anymore, which is the LS2 Pioneer, a motorcycle motocross helmet, which just has a terrible field of view, and it's really heavy, badly balanced, and just, you know, it's just not good. But this was the helmet of choice when I was doing like some sort of speed runs and scooters and this sort of stuff. So for speeds above 50 kilometers an hour, when you regularly go 60, 70, 80, even maybe like 90 kilometers an hour on a Tech Life X9 or whatever, then, you know, you start considering helmets that are, you know, motorcycle grade, which are, you know, safer for these sort of speeds. And that's also why I've been trying the EX0 and now the Shoei Glamster. And I gotta tell you guys that this helmet is actually really good, and really good for a helmet with a visor especially. The thing is that usually when you have a visor, you have a way smaller field of view in a helmet like this, because the chin bar is, you know, way up higher, and in motorcycles you don't usually need this sort of vision. So if I just put on my LS2 Pioneer, my whole vision basically is obstructed, and I can't see like down below. It's like literally, I can see just maybe down to here. So this is not a situation I'd like to be in. And the Glamster is a pretty cool helmet because it just weighs, what, 1,250? Yeah, 1,250 grams. This is pretty light for a motorcycle helmet. I mean, you know, this O'Neill weighs something around 900 grams, something like that. But, you know, obviously the level of protection you get here is just way superior. So let me just put it on real quick. It has a somewhat of a retro look. Obviously it was inspired by, you know, older helmets, but I think actually it looks really cool. It has the double D to just, you know, lock it up, and you can just tighten it. And there is also a small button at the end so it doesn't flop around. And the visor actually is really cool because it has this small piece here so you don't grab onto the visor elements. And I've also installed the pin lock here. So if you live in a really humid climate, it's really advised to take this pin lock, otherwise your visor will fog up. Now the issue with, you know, me wearing glasses right now is that my glasses will fog up earlier than, you know, the visor, so that's just what happens. But if you don't wear glasses, if you just get contact lenses, then, you know, this thing won't fog up if it's even very moist or raining. So another cool thing about the visor is that it has, you know, this semi-stage, and you can also just have it open like this, so you still hear a lot of the surroundings, you have a lot of air coming through, and, you know, this is the setting I would most of the time ride in. Unless I go like above 60, then I just close it up and I'm pretty much sealed from the outside world. And the cool thing, once again, about a visor is that you feel much warmer in the winter. There's not the whole air just blowing onto you, and you don't need to wear goggles all the time. But then the downside is that when you ride in rain and it's dark, especially when it's dark, then you can't really see so good through the visor as you can through goggles, but during daytime, even if it's raining, it's actually more than enough. I mean, you see just really good in it. So another thing to consider about the visor, once again, this is a helmet with a visor, so I'll talk about a lot of stuff with the visor, is that you need to lift it up and down all the time if you ride through the city and you talk with other people. If you don't talk with other people, if you just ride alone, then no problem. You can just go like this all the time and you're good, because this will not fog up if you have the pin lock installed. So this helmet is also actually really breathable. It has these vent holes up here. You can just open them or close them. There's also vents down on this side. So I think that the Glamster is a way more cool, or it has better airflow than the EX0, because this one has nothing up on the top. And this is also what makes it a bit pricier. It's around 400, 450 euro, whilst this one is, I think, 350 to 400 euro, the EX0. So yeah, these are the main features probably about the Glamster. I think it's actually really cool. The vision is also really, really good for a helmet with motorcycle helmet. Basically, it's the same like in my downhill helmet, just maybe a small tiny bit less, but yeah, it's actually really good. So yeah, it's available in different colors. Obviously, the white, black, some sort of, designs also here in the rear. You can check them out at the Shoei site. And actually, if you do write a DM to Shoei on Instagram, you can receive 10% discount on your purchase if you just mention that you came from the Wrong Way channel. So that is pretty cool. The locking here also is, you can't really open the visor unless you go from this side, and then it opens. Boom. So yeah, it's a really good seal. It's really high quality. It fits my head actually really well. And I think just when it comes to helmets with visors and integral helmets for PEVs, I think this is one of the best choices you can make. Definitely at Shoei. I did test out the X-Spirit, the GT Air, and the Neotech. And all of these other helmets are way quieter. I mean, you can hear a lot more in the Shoei. So this is good for riding PEVs. And this one is probably the lightest amongst all of these. So this is also a bonus. It's also way smaller. Then even you can see that it's just so much smaller than the VFX-W, the motocross helmet. So there's a lot of stuff that is going for the Glamster. So yeah, this is definitely a helmet I can recommend for PEVs. And between those two, the EX0 and the Glamster, I would probably choose the Glamster because it just has more airflow. I think that the visor is actually really cool, and I actually already have a similar to motocross helmet. So yeah, this is probably the way to go in between those two. I mean, and for the summer, this one, I think it will be too warm. Now, Shoei tells me that in the summer this will be good as well, but yeah, not so sure about it. I mean, even in winter now, this feels really warm to me, really warm. Now, I did also get the VFX-W from them, and this is actually a 4-year-old helmet, and it still holds up really nicely. And it weighs just 1,250 grams, so it's really light for a big, enduro motorcycle motocross helmet. I found it to be really comfortable, actually. This helmet is pretty expensive. It's around 450 euro or 500 euro, and it's the same pricing basically as the Glamster, but it's just a full-face motocross helmet. You need to buy the goggles, and this is not a full package. You just need to buy the goggles, which are another 50 or 100 euros or so. So yeah, that's that. But the vision here, the field of view, is even better than on the Glamster. I mean, it's a really good field of view on this helmet. Is definitely better than the LS2. And overall, the vision, the field of view on all of these motorcycle helmets is really good. That's a thing you need to consider if just looked at my friend just looked at a HJC helmet, like an integral helmet. You just don't see anything there, and they're really quiet. This one, you can hear pretty much everything. I think that above 40 kilometers an hour, it tends to get a bit loud in this helmet. Now, I'm not sure if I'm just used to riding this one recently. The O'Neill is loud anyways. I mean, the O'Neills tend to be loud. So that's that. There's just a bit of wind noise. I think it's a bit too much. It could be quieter, but then again, there's like a lot of air vents here, and it's not really designed to be like the most aerodynamic one, like as opposed to the Glamster, which already isn't also aerodynamic compared to GT Air 2 and whatnot. But anyways, I found this helmet to be really nice actually. I love riding in it. You can't feel the weight of it. Like it feels even lighter than the Glamster, although they're the same weight. So yeah, it has great ventilation, like up to this point that in the winter I would probably need to cover up all these vents to make it just a bit more warm. And other than that, it's just quality. I think the color looks pretty cool. It's just, pumpkin. And yeah, field of view is great, lightness is great, and there's really not much more that I can tell you about it. Like the goggles fit well, and yeah, it's just a good motorcycle helmet that I can actually recommend for PVs because it's not as heavy as usual enduro motocross helmets. Now, will I get any of these helmets? And the answer is I have to think about it. Like I really like this one because it's different from what I have, and it has the visor and it's really cool for high speed. But then again, it's a bit of money, so I need to think about it. I'm also not entirely sold on the retro look of the Glamster, maybe in a different color. I would be more sold on it, but yeah, that's that. And there's also, high-end bicycle helmets on the market, like the 100% Aircraft, or the O'Neill Carbon, the POC, Coron Air. The name suits our world very much now, Coron Air. So there's also the Fox Rampage Pro, obviously. So yeah, I'm not sure whether I would buy any of these. Probably I would mostly tend towards this one because it's just so different and it just suits my use case a lot. And this is really expensive, and it's also a bit bigger and bulkier than the EX0. And the EX0, look, it has the super cool visor here that just drops down. It's really practical, but for winter use, it's just not enough. Like if I just wear contact lenses and I turn my head a bit, or I have the helmet just in not the optimal position, like my eyes starts to water really a lot. And I know, like when they water, I'm not sad. So that's definitely the visor. So yeah, and it's just, in my opinion, a bit too warm. If you just, put the goggles on, but then I would need to have some sort of, old school goggles just to make it a bit more fashionable than with mine, So yeah, that's that. Huge thanks once again to Shoei for just lending me these for testing purposes. And probably this will be just the last of the videos in terms of Shoei helmets until they come out with something new that is interesting for PV riders as well. Because as said, I tried some of the other helmets as well, the GT Air, the Neotech, and the X-Spirit obviously. And I think that these three are the best in terms of Shoei helmets to consider for your PEV, especially for faster riding. So that's that. So if you're still here, leave a like on the video, subscribe to see more content like this. I'll see you in the next video. See you soon.